Exams 2024-25. Here in front of you, I have shared the screen where you can see the revision sheet which has been given to you. So I will go through with the revision sheet, plus I will give you the background concepts of all the concepts which are included in this exam. Before moving to the questions, before moving on to the questions, guys, I will go through with the study list. So as you can see in the study list, we have chapter number 6, equations, factors, and formulae. Three concepts I have chosen for you to practice for the final exam: solving linear equations, factoring algebraic expressions, and rearranging formulae. So these three topics are included. So if you want to practice further from the book, then you can open page number 180 till 193. From your textbook, you can practice it. Otherwise, the worksheets which was provided to you, worksheet number 1, 2, 3, and 4, they will be helpful for you to practice all the questions which are related to this study list content. Chapter number 14, if you open from the book, it has 14.1 simultaneous equations in which nonlinear graphs, you need not to study the linear graphs, only algebraic solution of simultaneous equations and linear inequalities from page number 432 till 444. Online resources, savemyexams.com can help you to find some past paper question. My iMaths, if you want to practice. Microsoft Teams, whatever the information is provided on Microsoft Teams can also be helpful. And the calculator which you need to bring in the final exam, that is FX991EX recommended. The total marks for this exam is 20. The total time which will be given to you for the exam is 60 minutes. Under every question, spaces will be provided, and you have to show your working if there is more than 1 mark given allocated for that question. As I said, scientific calculator is allowed, and students should use only dark blue, just blue, not black, guys, dark blue pen. But if you want to draw any diagram, so you can use HB pencil or graphs. Now let's start with the first topic, which is basically equations, solving linear equations. So guys, whenever we talk about linear equations, um, the power of the variable is always 1 in that equation. For example, I say 3x plus 4 is equals to 0. Now this is an equation because the variable power is 1. But if I say 3x squared plus 4 is equal to 0, now this equation is not linear because the maximum power of the variable has to be 1. So in this concept, I'm gonna go through with those type of questions which are representing linear equations. So how to solve the linear equation? As you can see, he has written 4x is equals to 40. Now this 4 is multiplying. In mathematics, if something is multiplying on one side, on the other side, when I send it, we have to do the opposite operation of multiplication because it is multiplying with x. So the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So I will write b divided by a, or I will say b over a. So only one step solution is required in this case. So 4 is multiplying. So I'm gonna send the 4 to the other side. So x is equals to 10. Remember, this 4 is multiplying here, and now 4 will go to the denominator. Some teachers, they solve these questions like that. They said divided by 4, and now 4 cancel. It is the same thing, 10 over 4. But now you know 10 over 4 is what? Shall I write the same answer? No, you need to simplify it. So divided by 2, as we know, 10 divided by 2 gives you 5, and 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. Now, this is an improper fraction. I can write my answer either in this form or I can write it in a mixed form. How many 2's the 5 has? There are 2 2's and remainder is 1 over 2. We can write it in the mixed form. Or if I want to write it in a decimal form, so 5 over 2 is 2.5. Now I want to show you how can I solve the question with the help of a calculator. First, I want to teach you how we can convert 10 over 4 into the simplest form. So once you press the equal sign, calculator gave you the simplest fraction, which is 5 over 2. Now, if I want to convert this simplest fraction, yani improper fraction, into a mixed form, press Shift and then press SD. Now my calculator will convert it into mixed form. But if I want to get the answer in a decimal form, again press SD, it converts it into 2.5, yani decimal form. So all answers are acceptable by me, but please don't write 10 over 4 because it should be further simplified. Now, I want to teach you also how to solve equations with the help of calculator in the exam. But this will be used only to verify your answer if calculator is allowed and it is a paper 4 question. So guys, see that on the screen, I'm writing 4. After that, I have X. How to write X? You need to press alpha and bracket close. It will automatically show X on the screen. Now I need to write the equal sign. So check on the calculator. If I press alpha and calc, then equal sign will be written for me. And after that, I have 10 on the right hand side. So 4x is equal to 10. I want to give a command to the calculator to solve this equation for me. In order to apply this operation, you have to press Shift and calc. Yani Shift and calc, because on top of calc it is written solve, and I want to give a command to the calculator to solve the equation. Now I see a red bar, red bar, I'm saying a black row or a line in which something is written, but this is the guess. This is not the solution. In order to get the solution, I need to press the equal sign again. So once I press the equal sign, the thing which you can remember, if left minus right is equal to 0 is there, then 2.5 is the solution of the equation. So guys, did you see 2.5? I can write answer, and 2.5 over 2, I can also say 2.5 or Shift SD, the answer in a mixed form. I can check it. So I can write here answer 5 over 2, or I can say 2 whole 1 over 2, or I can say that the answer is 2.5. Now let's come to the next question. Now in next question, I see bracket. In mathematics, we know whenever we see a bracket, we have to expand it. How do we expand it? Now this 5 will multiply with x. So 5 times x is 5x, then plus sign, then 5 multiplies with 8. So 5 times 8 is 40. If you have any concern, you can check on the calculator. 5 times 8, that is equals to 40. After that, the guy has written an equal sign. I'm going to copy the 75 as it is. So as you remember, whenever we solve the equation, I always try to make the subjective term, yani the term which contains x, I call it as a subjective term. And that subjective term has to be positive. Yes, it is positive because it has no sign behind it. Now, how can I isolate it? The thing which you have learned from me, this plus 40 should be shifted to the right hand side. So when the plus 40 will be shifted to the right hand side, it will change its sign. So I'm going to erase the plus 40 and write on the other side negative 40. Okay, so once the plus 40 goes to the other side, I will write minus 40 on the other side. So now let me solve. 5x is already there. equal 75 plus 40 changes to minus 40. Now 75 minus 40 is 35. You can check it on the calculator. Okay. Now after that, this 5 is multiplying, and now opposite of multiplication is division. So x is equals to 35 over 5, or you can write 5 divided by 5 and 35 divided by 5. But 5 over 5 is equal to 1, so no need to write 5 over 5, just x. Now 35 over 5 will not be accepted. As you know that 35 can be divided by 5 and 5 can also be divided by 5. So it helps me to simplify my answer as 7 over 1, or I can also call it as 7. So the solution of this equation is 7. Now let's see how the calculator can solve the equation. So take out your calculator and try to copy the same equation which is showing here 5, bracket open, x, how to write x, press alpha and bracket close. It helps you to write x plus 8 and then bracket close. Then I write the equal sign, how, press alpha and calc. Alpha and calc will help you to write equal sign, then 75. Remember how to solve the equation. Don't press equal. You need to press shift solve. Now shift solve, when the black line will be seen, it means it is the guess, initial guess taken by the calculator. It's not my answer. I need to press finally equal sign. The moment I press equal sign, I see left minus right is 0. There is a 0 error. And what is the solution? 7. Yes, Mr. Omar, I got my answer 7, and this is correct. In this way, in the exam, you can verify your answer. But does it mean a student writes the answer directly in the exam and he will get the full marks? No, he won't get the full marks, since the examiner gave 2 marks. So 1 mark is for working and 1 mark for the solution. Now, this type of a question, you can see the numerator has 25 minus 2u. So the good thing is this: whenever more than one term is seen either in numerator or denominator, so enclose it within the bracket. So I have put the brackets. Now I want to show you, if I have a fraction is equal to fraction. Whenever in mathematics we encounter with fraction is equal to fraction, the only rule which can eliminate the presence of denominators, we do cross multiplication. So if this is A and this is B, so the B will multiply with A, it leaves behind AB. And if this is C, this is D, so C multiplies with D. So it helps you to convert this fraction is equal to fraction into an equation form. So in this scenario, guys, I have a fraction on the left-hand side, 25 minus 2u in the numerator and 3 in the denominator. On the other side, I have 2 over 1. So am I allowed to multiply 1 with 25 minus 2u and 3 multiplied with 2? So let's go ahead and do this. This 25 minus 2u, 1 multiplied with 1, because if I want to write 2 as a fraction, so 2 over 1. So 1 multiplied with 25 minus 2u will give you the same answer, 25 minus 2u. However, this 3 is multiplying with 2, because in cross multiplication, they should multiply. So 3 times 2 gives you 6. Now, again, you have to think. Mr. Umar said that where is the subjective term? So as per my asking, the subjective term is on the left-hand side with a negative sign. So my advice always to you, don't keep the subjective term negative. Try to keep it positive. So in order to make it positive, I need to push the minus 2u to go to the right. And at the same time, I will push the 6 to go to the left. Now, 25 is already there. I'm going to copy 25. However, plus 6, when it will be shifted to the left, it becomes minus 6. And minus 2u, when it will be shifted to the right, it becomes plus 2u or just 2u. So imagine, after doing this procedure, my 2u is on one of the side and it has a positive sign. And on the left-hand side, I have 25 minus 6, which is basically 19 is equals to 2u. Now, as you can see that I have two multiplies over here. What is the opposite of multiplication? The opposite of multiplication is division. So 19 divided by 2. This 2 will go to the denominator and it is equals to u. Now, a student can write 19 over 2 as it is because it cannot be further simplified. But if I'm going to use calculator, 19 divided by 2, calculator gave me 19 over 2. But if I press the SD, it can be 9.5. It can be 9.5 as a terminating decimals. Or if I press Shift and SD, then it converts the answer into the mixed form. So either I keep 9.5 in the exam, 9 whole 1 over 2 or 19 over 2. So any of these three uh, answers will be acceptable by the examiner. Now, if you really want that to check the answer, yes, we can. I write a fraction 25 minus 2u. Now look at that. This is u. In the calculator, I cannot write u. Always in the place of the variable, I will write x. So alpha bracket close is x. In the equation, it is u. But for me, it is x to give the command in the calculator. So 3, and then I need to write the equal sign, press alpha calc equal sign, then 2. I'm ready. I have copied the same equation on the screen of a calculator, and now I want to give a command to the calculator for solving. And what is that command? Shift solve. I see the black line. This is not my answer. Press equal. And now my calculator told me that my answer is correct, 9.5. Now the next question is, guys, you can check it out. X plus 4 is equal to 3 bracket open 2 minus x. So everyone will agree with Mr. Omar that on the right hand side, we have to do the expansion. So what is the expansion? Expansion tells me that 3 multiplies with 2 and 3 multiplies with negative x. So if 3 multiplies with 2, it is 6. And if 3 multiplies with negative x, it gives me negative 3x. However, on the left-hand side, x plus 4 will stay as it is. Now, think about my advice. You have on the left-hand side x, and on the right-hand side, you have negative 3x. You have to readjust your terms in such a way so that your x stays positive. So the best thing is this, that this negative 3x will be shifted to the left, because when it will be shifted to the left, it will become plus 3x. And already I had it x over there. So x plus 3x will make it 4x, and 4x is positive, and this is my aim. So I'm going to write here x already there. And then minus 3x changes to plus 3x equals 6 was already there. And this plus 4 will be shifted to the right. So I write it like that. Now, x plus 3x is 4x, and 6 plus 4 is equals to 10. And now x is equals to 10 over 4, because this 4 is multiplying here. It goes on the other side. So 10 over 4 is my answer. But I will not accept this answer unless you write it in simplest form. So divided by 2, it converts into 5 over 2. Now 5 over 2 is acceptable, 2 whole 1 over 2 is acceptable, or 2.5 is acceptable. So three options are possible. I want to check my answer, write x alpha bracket close plus 4, and then write alpha bracket close 3 bracket open alpha x, 2 minus alpha x, and then close the bracket, shift solve, press equal sign, and the calculator gave me the answer 0.5. So imagine I got my answer, but my answer is wrong. Why my answer is wrong? You remember that I did one mistake. It was plus 4. When I shifted the plus 4 to the right, it had to be minus 4. Look, calculator is helping you. If calculator is allowed, The verification helps you if you did any mistake in the question, you can easily correct it. So rather than 6 plus 4, it is 10, 6 minus 4, and which is equals to 2. So now I will correct my solution. So 2 divided by 4. So divided by 2, divided by 2, it gives you 1 over 2 or 0 0.5. So any of here, it will be accepted. Now, question number 4, guys. I will do the question directly. I'm going to send the negative 5 to the right. So 4x is equals to 31. Instead of minus 5, I'm going to write plus 5 on the other side. Now 4x is equals to what is 31 plus 5? That is 36. And now x is equals to 36 divided by 4, which is equal to 9. And I will write the answer. Oh, let's check the answer. I will write 4 alpha x minus 5 alpha calc 31 shift solve, and I got my answer 9. Yes, it is correct. Next question, I need to expand the bracket on the left hand side. 4 times y is 4y, 4 times negative 5 is negative 20, and I copied minus 30 is equal 36 as it is. Now, as routine, minus 20 will go to the other side first. So 4y is equal to 36 plus 20. In the exam, I will suggest you to draw this line, and half part of the question you do it on the left and half part on the right. Now 4y, what is 36 plus 20? 36 plus 20 is 56. So guys, I'm going to write it here 56. So y is equals to 56 over 4. And we know that divided by 4, it gives you 14 over 1. So my answer is 14. Let me check my answer from the calculator. I will write 4 bracket open. I cannot write y. I can write x only. So press alpha, bracket close, negative 5, bracket close, equal sign. And then I write 36, shift solve, and then press equal sign. My answer is correct. It is 14. Now the next question, if you look at that, it is 5 multiplies with 2y, it gives you 10y. 5 multiplied with negative 17, you may check from the calculator, is negative 85, and you just copy the 60 as it is. And you all agree with me that this negative 85 should move to the right hand side because I confirm my 10y is already positive. So it's better to send minus 85 to the right. So 60 minus 85 becomes plus 85, and 10y is already on the left hand side. Now 60 plus 85 is 145, and this is 10y. Now 10 will move to the right. The multiplication changes to division, so 10 will be written in the denominator. Now 145 over 10, I can write it in the, guys, in a fraction form. It is 29 over 2 because he did it divided by 5, divided by 5. I can convert this improper fraction into mixed form, which is 14 whole 1 over 2, 14 whole 1 over 2, or I can also copy it or answer it in the form of a terminating decimal, which is 14.5. So any of the answer can be used in the answering space. This question is interesting. Why interesting? Because you remember when we did this type of questions, A over B plus C over D, when you see a fraction plus fraction. So fraction plus fraction or fraction minus fraction, the rule is that is called a butterfly technique. What is the butterfly technique? Butterfly technique says that this A should multiply with D, so I will get AD. This B will multiply with C and I get plus BC. And in the denominator, B will multiply with D. So this is called butterfly technique. Now let's apply the butterfly technique. But before I go for it, you remember that I have two terms in the denominator. So it's better to keep it in the brackets. Now, my friends, This 3 is going to multiply with x. It gives you 3x. This 3 is going to multiply with 1. It gives you 3 times 1 is 3. So imagine I have multiplied this 3 with x plus 1. So that gives me 3x plus 1. Now repeat the same procedure when 2x will multiply with 1. So 2x times 1 gives you 2x. So this is also done. Once you do this cross, then you have to multiply this 2x with x plus 1. Now there are two ways. Either you can write 2x bracket open x plus 1 and you don't multiply them. But if you are really willing to multiply the 2x with x, so 2x times x is 2x squared. And when you multiply 2x with 1, it gives you 2x. And on the other side equals to 0. Remember, I told you whenever you have a fraction is equals to fraction, I am allowed to do the cross multiplication. So here I will do the cross multiplication because 0 can be written as 0 over 1. So 1 will be multiplied with this numerator and 2x squared plus 2x will be multiplied with 0. And we also know the rules from mathematics that any number multiplies with 0 will make the things 0. So if you send this 2x squared plus 2x on the right hand side multiplied with 0, it will be automatically finished. Whatever the number you have, but if it multiplies with 0, the answer will be 0. On the left hand side in the numerator, I have 3x plus 2x. Can I just add them? 3x plus 2x is going to give you 5x and plus 3. And this whole number, when multiplied with 0, it makes it 0. The question becomes so easy. So 5x is equals to, now plus 3 will go to the other side. So I'm going to write 0 minus 3. But it's better not to write 0, guys, because 0 has no worth. So 3 plus 3 will go to the other side, and I will see minus 3, and 0 will be gone. Now x is equals to minus 3 over 5, and that is the right solution. But if any student wants to check the answer, let me show you how to check it. 3 over 2 alpha x, then bring the cursor in the middle, plus fraction. I'm going to write 1 over x plus 1. And then I write the equal sign, 0, shift solve, and it gives me the answer because you know, guys, the problem is it is a very, very small number. So let me change my guess because there is an error. Can you check that left minus right is something? Whenever we see x in the denominator, normally they calculate this type of a glitch. So press equal sign, go back and press shift solve. Try to give some reasonable answer. For example, I give my answer 3. So change your guess to 3. Now, after refining your guess, maybe the calculator will give us some good answer, but still the calculator is not capable of calculating this answer since the x is in the denominator. So I want to change my answer and change my guess. Okay, so if I want to change my guess, shift solve, I'll write here, what is my answer, guys? By the way, minus 0. So I'm gonna use my answer -1. Maybe this time refinement will happen and the guess, look at that. The calculator gave me the correct answer, minus 0.6. You press answer, ANS, and then press equal sign. You can convert your minus 0.6 as minus 3 over 5. So Mr. Omar, your answer is verified by a calculator, but you need to be smart. In the exam, when the left minus right is not 0, it means the system, the calculator is not ready to pick the guess which you are giving it initially. So try to adjust your guess and then you get your answer. Now, guys, I'm going to move to the question number 7. Straightforwardly seen that this is a cross multiplication case. As you can see that I have x plus 5 and 3 should be multiplied with it. So let's do it, guys. The x multiplied with the 3, it gives you 3x. Now, 5 multiplied with the 3 gives you plus 15. So I'm done with that, with this cross multiplication. And then now I'm going to multiply my x with the 7. So that gives me 7x on the right hand side. So this is called cross multiplication. When cross multiplication is allowed, when we have fraction is equals to a single fraction, you can apply the cross multiplication. Now, after doing this, I have to again readjust my equations, my terms. So obviously this plus 3x should be shifted to the right to get the positive term of x. So plus 15 will stay here, and 7x plus 3x will be changed to minus 3x. Now 7x minus 3x gives you 4x, and 15 is on the left hand side. Now 4 is multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is division. So 15 over 4, I will write it here, which is equals to x. 15 over 4 I can write it as, or I can write it as 3.75 from a calculator, or also in a mixed form, 3 whole 3 over 4. So why not? We can check our answer from a calculator. I'm writing here in this fraction x plus x plus 5 over x, and then I write the equal sign. Then I write a fraction 7 over 3. Correct? So shift, solve. Now this was my previous guess. Okay, keep it and try to check your answer. Are you getting your answer or not? Yes, Alhamdulillah. Calculator gave me 3.75. But if you want to convert this terminating decimals into mixed form or improper fraction, so just press answer and press equal sign. Now 15 over 4, yes. And if you want to convert into mixed form, press shift and SD. Now 3 whole 3 over 4. So any of the three options can be used in the answering space to get your answer. But don't forget, you have to write your final answer in the answering space. Now, in this particular case, guys, you can see the 2 multiplies with 11 and 2 multiplies with minus 3x. Now, 2 multiplies with 11 gives you 22, and 2 multiplies with negative 3x is negative 6x. So many students, they sometimes ignore the negative sign. No, negative 3x multiplied with gives you, it helps you to get the answer minus 6x. On the left hand side, it is 4x minus 12, guys. Now make the readjustment. The smart decision tells you that negative 6x should go to the left hand side, because when negative 6x go to the left hand side, it becomes positive 6x. Already I have here 4x, so 4x plus 6x will make the subjective term positive. At the same time, minus 12 will be shifted to the right. So 22 is already there. So I'm going to write 22. So instead of minus 12, I will write on the right side plus 12. Now 4x plus 6x is going to give you 10x. And then after that, 22 plus 12 is going to give you 34. Now 34 over 10 is my answer, or 3.4 is my answer, or you can convert it into mixed form, which is 3 whole 2 over 5. Or you can also write it as 17 over 5, because you remember divided by 2, divided by 2. So any of these three answers can be used in the answering space. Very simple question. Negative x will be shifted to the right, and plus 1 will be shifted to the left. So 2 is already there. I'm going to write 2. So plus 1 will be written, minus 1 on the left. 5x is already there, but negative x will be shifted to the right, becomes plus x. Now 5x plus x will make it 6x. 2 minus 1 will make it 1. 6 is multiplying. On the other side, 6 will be divided. So my answer is 1 over 6. Okay, so you can copy this one. And now you know how to check your answer from a calculator. Let me do that. 2 minus x equal sign 5x plus 1, shift solve. The calculator gave me answer in decimals. Basically, it's a recurring decimal. I can press SD, but unfortunately, calculator cannot convert it into recurring. And this is recurring, cannot convert into fraction. Press answer. and then press equal sign. So 1/6. This is my correct answer. I already got it. Now on both sides, I have brackets. So let's expand. So 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 4 is 12, 2 times 4x is 8x, and 4 times -1 is -2. Now readjustment 12 plus 2 and 8x, the plus 3x will be shifted to the right. So -3x and -2 will be shifted to the left. It becomes +2. So 12 plus 2, guys, is going to give me 14, and 8x minus 3x is going to give me 5x. And then I can write 14 over 5 is equal to x. You can write 14 over 5, or you can write 2.8, or you can write 2 whole 4 over 5. Any of the three options, you can write it. But from the calculator, we want to confirm the answer, 3 bracket open, um, 3 bracket open, x plus 4 bracket close equals sign, 2 bracket open, 4 alpha x, -1 bracket close, shift solve. The calculator gave me 2.8 and my answer is correct. Next question is, we have here y over 4. Don't get confused of this, because if someone says y over 2, y over 2 means 1 over 2. So 1 over 2y or 0.5y. So I will not write y over 2. Rather, I will copy 0.5y. So, my friends, here I will do the expansion. 3y minus 3 times 4 is 12. But in place of y over 2, I'm going to write 0.5y is equals to 9. Now, this -12 will be shifted to the right, and I will write here 9 plus 12. However, 3y plus 0.5y will give me 4. Oh, no, not 4 3.5 y. So 3.5y is equals to 9 plus 12. So I'm going to check what finally I'm going to get. 3.5y is equal to 9 plus 12, which is equals to 21. And then y is equal to 21 divided by 3.5. Right? Now, if I remove the decimal, then 21 times 10 over 35 can be easily solved manually or mentally. But with the help of calculator, I can also check that what is the answer of this 30, 31, 21 over 3.5. So let me check on the calculator. 21 divided by 3.5, that gives me the answer 6. So answer is 6, but I want to get my answer from a calculator. So let's go for it. 3 bracket open. I cannot write y, so why not? I can use alpha bracket close. In place of y, I write x. -4 bracket close. Then I write plus sign, fraction, x on the top over 2, and then I write an equal sign, and then I write 9. Now, once I complete the equation, give a command to the calculator, shift solve, and then press the equal sign. Imagine my answer is 6. Next question, boys, you can see x minus 2 is going to multiply with the 3. 2x plus 5 is going to multiply with the 4. So let's do this one first. X minus 2 is multiplying with 3. So x multiplied with the 3, it is 3x. And -2 multiplied with the 3 gives you -6. And on this side, 2x multiplied with the 4, it is 8x. And plus 5 multiplied with the 4 will give you 20. Now, a readjustment. I will send the 3x to the right, and 20 I will shift to the left, because my aim is that x should stay positive. So 8x, the plus 3x changes to -3x. -6 was already there, but plus 20 will be changes to -20. So -26 is equals to 5x. So I will write -26 over 5. This is acceptable. But if you want to convert it into mixed form, guys, you can also write it as -5 whole 1 over 5, or you can write it as -5.2. So any of these three options can be chosen. I want to test my answer. Okay, is my answer correct. So I will copy the question, x minus 2 over 4. Then I write equal sign. Then I write here 2x plus 5 over 3, shift solve, and then I get my answer minus 5.2. If you press answer and press equal sign, you can convert it into improper form. But if you want to convert this improper into mixed form, press shift and SD. Now you can see your answer is also given in a mixed form. Now, guys, Alhamdulillah, we are done with the linear equations. You can solve more questions from the book that will give you more practice. Okay, so let's go to our next target, which is factoring. Okay, how to do the factorization. Now, the first question, if you see here, it is 4x squared minus 9. Let's recall how we were doing the factorization. There is a famous formula which is called a squared minus b squared, and this is called of difference of two squares. What is this called? Difference, because minus sign means difference of what? Difference of two squares. So what is the formula for difference of two squares we learned during this term? The difference of two squares, we always get two brackets. That's why it is called factoring. So in the first bracket, we have a plus sign, and the second bracket, we have a negative sign between the terms. So under the square, I have A. I'm going to copy A here and A here. Under the square, I have B. I'm going to write B and B. If you want to check that, is my answer correct? A times A gives you A squared. A times minus B gives you minus AB. B times A gives you plus AB. And minus plus B times minus B is giving you minus B squared. And this both of these terms will be cancelled. And your final answer is A squared minus B squared, which is the same thing like the original expression I wrote it. So guys, what did we learn? We learned that how to do difference of two squares. Now, if a student has 4x square, how that student will able to how that student will write 4x square as a whole square. Yani, instead of writing 4, you know that it is written as 2 squared and this is x squared. Now 2 square x square, it is not under the square, so I'm going to write it as 2x whole square. So no need to write 4x squared. Rather, you have to write it as 2x squared. So in this case, my A is 2x. I hope it is clear to you guys. Now I'm ready to convert it to a square minus, yani I'm ready to write it as a square minus b square form, which is equal to a plus b and a minus b. So can I write 4x square as a square? Yes, it should be written 2x whole square. Do you agree with me? Because 2 square is equal to 4 and this is x square, and which is the same thing. So my friends, ready? I'm going to write here, instead of 4x squared, I will write 2x whole squared minus, what shall I write in place of 9? It is 3 squared. Now my A is 2x. So I'm going to copy here 2x. I will write here 2x plus sign minus sign. And what is my B, guys? My B is 3. So my answer is 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. Now don't try to apply the difference of two squares formula in this case. Why? Because at first you need to look at, is there anything common? The answer is yes, Mr. Omar. The smallest power of x is common in these two terms, because this 4x square means 4x and x, and this is minus 9x, in which it is clearly seen that in these two terms, x is common. So if x is common, I need to write it outside. If I write this x outside, guys, so what will be left inside the bracket? So the inside the bracket, you will be left with 4x minus 9, and the x will be taken out. Let me do it again. As you guys can see, I have here 4x square in this term, and I have 9x in this term. If you closely observe that x square and x have something common. So why not I will write 4x square as 4x dot x minus 9x. Now this x will be taken common. Okay, so I'm taking it this one common. Then what will be left in the bracket? In the bracket, you are left with 4x minus 9, and that is the final answer. So compare this question with the previous question. In the previous question, there was nothing common, but now there is something common. Now let's do the factorization, guys, of trinomial, because we have three terms, 4x squared minus 9x plus 2. And this method has been explained it to you in detail in the class. I told you you have to look at the coefficient of x squared and the constant term. So can you multiply 4 with the 2? Now 4 multiplies, when you multiply 4 with the 2, it gives you 8. Now this number 8 is important for us because we need to think of two numbers. We need to think of two numbers. If we multiply them, we should get 8. And if we add the two numbers, we should get the middle number, -9. And this is the thing which I have taught you in the class. And if you multiply the two numbers, you should get 8. If you add the numbers, you should get -9. Now, can you think of those two numbers which can help you to make this situation possible? It's like a riddle, guys. Yes, Mr. Omar, when -1 multiply with the -8, it gives you 8. But when -1 and -8 are added together, it gives us -9. So what are those two numbers, boys? Those two numbers are -1 and -8. So now I'm going to write my two factors. First factor is -1 because I have -1, and the second factor is -8. And I need to copy the same number, -1 and -8. Is my job done? No. What was the number seen here? The number was 4. So this number has to be divided by 4, and this number is also divided by 4. So be careful, guys. You have to divide this with the 4. As per the rule, I cannot leave here fraction. So this 4, if I don't want to keep fraction, so I need to send the 4 here and multiply it with x. So finally, it becomes 4x minus 1. However, this 4 cancel with 8 and leaves behind a whole number, which is 2. So x minus 2. So boys, this is called 4x minus 1, and this is called x minus 2. Now, if a student is sitting in the exam and he wants to check that, is this answer correct? Calculator cannot help you. I have a way to show you how the calculator can help you, the quadratic trinomial, but why not we can do the manual multiplication. Okay, 4x times x gives you 4x squared. 4x times -2 gives you -8x. -x times -1 times x is -x, and -1 times -2 is +2. Now, can I simplify the middle two terms? So 4x squared minus 8x minus x minus 9x and +2. Oh, wow, Mr. Omar, this is the same question expression which we see in the original question. So it is the same. My answer is correct. It's not wrong. So be careful in the final exam if I give you any quadratic trinomial. So this is called quadratic trinomial. Its factorization can be done in this way. Now, let me show you if your calculator has this function. I don't know. I am using 99fx, which I have already recommended. So go to the equation mod. Once you go to the equation mod, calculator will give you two options, simultaneous equations and polynomial. Basically, this is a polynomial equation of degree 2 because the maximum power of the variable is 2. So I press 2. Now press 2 again. Now calculator will ask you, what are the coefficient of x squared? It is 4, and I press enter. Then the cursor move to the middle term, which is the coefficient of x. It is -9. I'm going to write it. And then cursor automatically moves to the constant, which is 2. I'm going to enter 2. So I am ready to press the equal sign to get the first answer, which is 2. Did you see, guys? And the second answer is equals to 1/4. And can you check that my factorization is correct? If it is 2 you have a changed answer, x is equal to -2, because if someone say your answer is 2, 2 goes back and it becomes x minus 2 is equal to 0. So this is my factor, correct? And the second answer, he gave it to me 1 over 4. So if someone says x is equal to 1 over 4, 4 goes here, 4x, and then 1 will be shifted to the left. So 4x minus 1 is also seen here. But no need, guys, to check your answers from a calculator of factorization, because normally we use it when we solve quadratic equations. Okay, guys. So now we move to the next question. Next question, we want to factorize. I have two terms. So 8 can be written as 4 times 2 and g, and minus 2, g squared can be written as g and g. So can you check that what are the things common? 2 is common, and also g is common. So I'm going to take the 2g outside. When you take the 2g outside, what is left inside? 4 and g. So 4 minus g. So the things which are common, you should take them outside, and the things which are left behind, you just copy them as it is. Yani 4 minus g. Now, in this particular case, guys, I have to check 12 and 21. Can we split 12 and 21? It looks like it's 4 times 3. I can write it as, and a cube can be written as a squared times a, okay, or a times a times a. This is up to you. And 21 can be written as 7 times 3a. Now, can you check that in these two terms? What are the things common? You have 3 common, you have a common. So I'm going to take these things out. So 3a is out. What is left behind? You are left behind with 4a squared, 4a squared here, minus, and here what is left? Minus 7. That's the final answer, 4a squared minus 7. Now we go to the next question. 3x squared minus 12x, obviously 3 is common, and I have here x squared, and over there is x. Why not? I can split them. So 3x dot x minus 12 can be written as 3 dot 4xy. I have 3 common. I have x common. So now I'm going to write 3x outside. What is left inside? X, 4 and y. So x minus 4y. I will write it outside, inside the bracket, and outside is 3x. Now, this type of a question, let's see how we can solve it. 7k squared, we have here 7, and we have here 15. There is nothing common, only k squared, and k, I can take k outside. So 7k minus 15 is the solution for this question. First time we see a bracket is common. So m plus p, and this is m plus p, but there is a square. So there is a power 1 over here. So can I write, and I have 12 here and 8. Why not 12 can be written as 4 times 3 m plus p, and 8 can be written as 4 times 2 m plus p, and again m plus p. Did you see, guys? It's a square. So the same bracket is multiplying twice. Let's see what are the common things in this bracket, yani in this term and in this term. So we do have 4 common, and we do have m plus p common. So I'm going to take them outside. 4 and m plus p is taken common. I am left behind with 3. I write 3 plus, and then 2 along with m plus p. So 2 along with m plus p. Now, some students can expand the brackets. Otherwise, this is good. And 3, 2 multiplied with m is 2m, and 2 multiplied with p, it's a 2p. So this is up to you. So both answers are acceptable. When we go to the next question, it is 15. I can write 15 as 5.3 k square and m minus 5.4 m and m power 3. Okay, so check it out. what is common? 5 is common and m is common. The rest of the terms will stay behind in the bracket. So I'm going to write 5m common inside the bracket 3k squared minus 4m cubed. Okay, now we move to the next case when we have four terms. So first time we see four terms factorization. For this we need to use grouping technique. So grouping technique is we have to take something common in the first two terms. If there is nothing common in them, you write one outside and you keep 1 plus x as it is. Yani you need to just write one outside the bracket because there is nothing common. Now, what is the sign here? Negative sign. I'm going to copy the negative sign and check what is common in these two terms. The common thing is y. And you remember whenever someone writes the bracket yani minus common, this minus sign changes to the plus sign. So I'm going to write here 1, nothing is here, 1 plus x is left over here because y is already gone out. If y is gone out and if nothing is there, you should leave 1 in that place. The interesting point is this, guys, 1 plus x and 1 plus x. This is the bracket common. I'm going to take it outside from these two terms. So 1 plus x, I pick it outside. What is left inside? 1 and negative y. So this is the factorization of four terms. Now 2x cubed. Hello, how are you? So 2x cubed can be written as 2x squared dot x minus 18 can be written as 2.9x y squared. Now imagine I have splitted the 18xy squared as 2.9 xy squared. And also, guys, you can see Mr. Romer has written 2x cube as 2x squared and x. Now this will help me to see what are the common things. 2 is common, so I'm going to take the 2 outside. As you can also see, x is common, so I'm going to write x outside. Now what is left behind in the first term? X squared is left, then minus sign, and 9 and also y squared left. Now this question is a little bit complicated. Why? Because this x squared can be written as x squared, but this 9y squared, as I told you, I can write it as 3y whole squared. Since I told you a square minus b square can be written as a plus b and a minus b, which is called difference of two squares. So is there any chance of a difference of two squares? The answer is yes. What is a in this case? The a is x here. So I'm going to write here x and x. And in the place of b, I have 3y. So I'm going to write here 3y and 3y with plus and minus sign. So what would be the final answer? Mr. Romer, I'm going to use the difference of two squares formula. So x plus 3y and x minus 3y will be the final solution. So these type of questions are a little bit tricky, and this question should carry 3 marks or 4 marks. So I think you guys can see it has 3 marks because so many things were involved into it. Now we go to the question number 8, guys, which is looking pretty simple because as you can see, it's 15 minus 5 I have. So 15 can be broken into 5.3 and c square can be broken into c dot c minus 5 and c. Imagine, boys, this is 5, this is 5, this is c, this is c. So I can take 5c common from the first from these two terms. So the moment you take 5c common from the two terms, what will be left behind in the bracket? So the things which will be left behind in the bracket is 3c and nothing is left here. If nothing is left here, it should be replaced by 1. So my final answer is 5c bracket opens 3c minus 1. Now, Mr. Omar, I have 4 terms. You remember I told you whenever you have 4 terms, you have to solve the question by using grouping. So grouping is like what is common in the first 2 terms. Mr. Omar, k is common. So once you take the k common, the left behind items are 2p minus m. Very good. What is the sign in between? There is a plus sign. Now check out like what is the common in the 6p minus 3p. Mr. Omar, 3 is common in these two terms. Okay, when the 3 is out, what is left behind in 6p? It will be 2p and the minus will stay because whenever you take plus sign outside, the minus sign doesn't change. It stays the same. And 3 gone outside m. The interesting point is this is 3p minus m, 2p minus m and 2p minus m. So in this case, 2p minus m is a common bracket. So once you take it outside, once you take the 2p minus m outside, what is left behind? The left behind items are k plus 3. So in the next bracket, I'm going to write here k plus 3. So this is called factorization, guys. We do it. Now, next question, I also gave it to you the grouping question. Why? Because the first two terms and the last two terms, you need to look for something common. Mr. Omar, there is nothing common in 3x and 8y. So if nothing common, you can just write 1 outside and copy the statement 3x plus 8y. However, if you have a minus sign here, you just copy minus sign and change this minus to plus sign. And 6 and 16, what is common? 2 is common because 2 is a number which can divide 6 and 16. And a is also common. I'm writing a outside. So out of 6ax, if 2a is out, what is left in 3x is left. The minus sign changes to plus sign. 16 divided by 2 gives you 8, and a is outside and y is left. And the important thing is that if a student has done the factorization, the grouping correct, they should be the same. So I see the both brackets same. I'll write this bracket only one time outside. And what shall I write in the next bracket? In the next bracket, the things which are left behind, 1 minus 2a. And this is factorization for me. Now, this type of a question you might see in the exam, a quadratic trinomial I have, and I want to do the factorization. In the class, many times I told you, you just need to multiply 6 with the negative 20. Now, when you multiply 6 with the negative 20, guys, it leaves behind the 6 times negative 20 is negative 120. Now, you need to think of two numbers in the exam. When you multiply them, it should give minus 120. And if you add the two numbers, the same two numbers, you should get the middle number, which is plus 7. Now, can I think about those two numbers? Yes, you can. You can just do the hit and trial technique, the hit and trial by using the calculator. Like, for example, I do this, I can do 120 divided by 8, supposedly. It is giving me 15. Oh, yes, 15 minus 8 can give me 7. So I'm going to write here minus 15 or plus 15 multiply with the negative 15 multiply with the negative 8. Look at that. 15 times negative 8 gives you minus 120. However, if plus 15 negative 8, I do that, I will get plus 7. So these are the two numbers which actually I was looking for, 15 and minus 8. So once you conclude the two numbers, you remember I told you x plus 15, you write it here, and x negative 8, you write it over here. But don't stop it. You remember this number has to be divided here. So divided by 6, and also it has to be divided here, divided by 6. Now, can I keep the same answer? No, Mr. Omar. 15 over 6 has to be simplified. So 15 divided by 6 gives you what? 5 over 2. So basically, this is 5 over 2. And 8 over 6 is how much? 8 divided by 6 is 4 over 3. So this thing is 4 over 3. But am I allowed to leave a fraction here? No, Mr. Omar, multiply the 2 here. So it becomes 2x plus, what is this? 5. And this 3 can multiply with x, and it leaves you behind 3x minus 4. So this is the correct factorization of 6x squared plus 7x minus 20 manually. If you want to do it with the calculator, guys, again, I will suggest you, if your calculator allows, you can go to the equation mod polynomial. I go to that. I select 2 degrees and put the coefficient of x squared, which is 6. I press equal sign, then 7, press equal sign, then negative 20, press equal sign. The calculator gave you, let me check what, did I do any mistake? I wrote 6, guys, then I write 7, then I write, oh, I did not write minus 20. So it should be minus 20. Okay, got it. Now, first answer is 4 over 3. So if your first answer is 4 over 3, how can I write it in a factor form? So 3 multiplied with x, it is 3x is equal to 4. 4 goes to the left, so 3x minus 4. Yes, Mr. Romer, you wrote 3x minus 4. The second answer with the calculator is giving it to you. Press the equal sign. It is minus 5 over 2. Any x is equals to minus 5 over 2. Can I convert it into a factor form? So 2 goes here. So 2x is equal to negative 5. Negative 5 goes to the left. So 2x plus 5 equal to 0. Yes, it is 2x plus 5. So my answer is correct. But my suggestion is try to utilize your whole efforts in doing the mental way, like try to search for the two numbers. When you multiply them, you should get minus 120 and you should add them and get plus 7. This particular question, guys, it looks like I can take something common from them. So I will take 3 outside common. So I'm left with 6x squared, and 48 divided by 3 gives you 16 y squared. Imagine I told you a squared minus b squared formula, because this is equals to a plus b and a minus b. Okay, so I'm going to write here 3. What is the best way? I can write x squared as x squared, and 16y squared can be written as 4y whole square. This is the must, because I want to know what is my a. My a is x and my b is 4y. So difference of two squares formulas tells me that this should be written as x plus 4y and x minus 4y. My a is x, my b is 4y, and in between I need to write 4, a plus and minus sign. Then we will go for grouping. Look at that. In this case, I'm going to go for grouping. P is common, and then I will be left with x plus y. And there is a minus sign. I'm going to copy minus sign, nothing common. So then nothing common mean I will write 1 outside. Minus changes to plus, and then x plus y. You got same brackets, guys. I'm going to copy x plus y outside. Inside the bracket, I'm writing p minus 1. And this is my factorization by grouping. What is common in these two terms? Guys, 2 is taken common. So t squared, 98 divided by 2 is 49 m squared. So 2, I can write t as t squared. So 49 m squared can be written as 7m whole squared. So 2, one time I will write t plus 7m, and the second time I will write t minus 7m, which formula I have used a squared minus b squared, which is a plus b and a minus b. Now, the next question is again a quadratic trinomial. What is the number here I have? Minus 132. So guys, think of the two numbers. When we multiply them, it should give us minus 132. And when we add the two numbers, we should get this number, which is negative 1, because along with x, it is negative 1. So what are the two numbers? It is again hit and trial technique. These two numbers with that, because the calculator is allowed. So minus 12 times 11 and minus 12 plus 11 will give you negative 1. So I'm going to write my two factors, x minus 12 and then x plus 11. The two factors, remember, there is a 1 here, no need to divide anything. So this is the required factorization. So divided by 1, because there is a 1 over here. So this is the final factorization we are going to get. Now, in this case, guys, I have two terms and there is an x common in them. So when I write the bracket, so out of x cubed, I'm left with x squared minus out of 4x, 4 is left over here. Mr. Romer, it looks like I'm going to use a squared minus b squared formula, which is a plus b and a minus b. So because 4 can be written as 2 squared. So now my a is x and my b is 2. So let's apply the formula. X is outside, two brackets. So x plus 2 and x minus 2 is the correct factorization for this question. Now, this question, I need to go for grouping. You remember what is common in the first two. A is common, so x plus y. What is the sign we have? Plus sign. Plus doesn't change the sign of this plus. Just check what is common in the two terms. So 3c common. What is left inside? X plus y. As routine, always you get the same brackets, x plus y, x plus y. right? X plus y one time outside if you take it common. Now what is left inside the bracket? A plus 3c. And that's the final answer. Now, in this case, guys, I have 3a squared minus 12a squared. I'm going to take 3 common. So a squared minus 12 divided by 3 gives you 4b squared. Boys, again, try to understand 3 is outside. Mr. Omar is going to write here a squared, and 4b squared can be written as 2b whole squared. So now my a is a and my b is 2b. So what is the difference of two squares formula, two brackets? So a plus 2b and a minus 2b will be my final answer. Now let me apply the grouping here. Grouping is like if nothing is common, you write one outside, a plus b, and there is a plus sign here. And now t is common, so a plus b is left here. We know that it is a must we get the same bracket, so I will write this bracket a plus b outside. Now what is left inside the second bracket? That is 1 plus t. I'm going to copy 1 plus t over here. Now we have here x squared minus 2x minus 24. Very important for the final exam, guys. So negative 24. So I need to think of the two numbers. When we multiply them, you should get minus 24. And when you add them, the two numbers, you should get negative 2. So what are those two numbers? Basically, those two numbers, guys, are minus 6. With hit and trial, it will help you. Minus 6 times 4 gives you minus 24, and minus 6 plus 4 is going to give you 2. So what are the two factors? X minus 6 and x plus 4. What is the coefficient I have? 1, so divided by 1 divided by 1. So that's the final answer I am going to get. In this case, I have a 2 here and I have a negative 3 here. So at first, 2 is going to multiply with negative 3. It gives you negative 6. Now think of the two numbers. When you multiply them, you should get negative 6. And when you add them, you should get the middle number, which is negative 5. So can I use my hit and trial technique? So I know if minus 6 is multiplying with 1, it gives you negative 6. And if negative 6 plus 1 we get negative 5. So what are those two numbers? I got it, negative 6 and 1. I'm going to write the two factors, x negative 6 and x plus 1. But Mr. Umar, there is a number here, 2. So I need to divide it by 2. Okay. So divided by 2, divided by 2. 2 cancel with 6, it leaves behind 3. So I'm going to copy it directly, x minus 3. But here 1 over 2, so this 2 multiplies here. So 2x plus 1 is the factorization for this case. Now I have here negative 30 and there is a 1 here. So negative 30, I need to think of the two numbers. When we multiply them, I should get negative 30. And when we add them together, I should get the middle number, which is plus 1. So what are those two numbers? So think about it, maybe 6 and negative 5. Okay, if you multiply them, negative 30. If you add them, 6 and negative 5, it gives you 1. So Mr. Omar, the two numbers are x plus 6 because these numbers are 6 and negative 5. So x plus 6, and I'm going to write here x negative 5. So these are the two factors. We got it. Now, this type of a question is factorized, but the guy has written equal sign. So I'm not going to consider this type of question for the exam, but if any student wants to solve it, yes, I do prefer we can do that. But this is not included in our exam. Rather, I will just teach you how to do the factorization. So now 2 multiplied with the 12 is going to give you 24, guys. Now I need to think of the two numbers. When we multiply them, it should get 24. And if you add them, guys, it should get negative 11. So those two numbers basically are um, these two numbers are it should be negative what do you think, guys? Negative 8 and 3, because negative 8 times 3 gives you two, it gives you but unfortunately, if I multiply negative 8 with negative 3, then it gives you 24. But if you add negative 8 and negative 3, it gives us negative 11. So I'm going to write the two factors, x negative 8 and x negative 3. Don't forget, you have to divide it by 2. So once you do the division, so it leaves behind 4. So I'm going to get x minus 4. This 2 goes here and it gives you 2x minus 3. That's the factorization. But in the next worksheet, which we did it, when you put it equal to 0, you write 4x minus 4 is equal to 0 and 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, although it is not included in the exam. So x is equals to 4 and 2x is equals to 3 and x is equals to 3 over 2. So, but I just want to emphasize that you need to know for the final exam, just factorization. Solving the quadratic equation is not included. Again, you guys can see equal to 0. No, you just need to know how to factorize it. So the number is -4. What are the two numbers? We multiply them, should get -4. And if you add them, you should get -3. So those two numbers are basically -4 and 1. When you multiply them, you get -4. And if you add them up, you get -3. So I'm going to write the two factors, x minus 4 and x plus 1. Is there any number here? No, Mr. Omar, 1. So divided by 1, divided by 1. So just leave it. So this is the required factorization. I have it. So I'm stopping it. This is my video number 1, and inshallah, video number 2 will contain the questions from chapter number 6 onwards. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.